Don't go.
Welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast.
I took the blows and did it my way.
It's time. The Vinny Rock Podcast.
Hey, what's up? It's the Vinny Rock Podcast. I feel like I can't hear myself. Mike, do I sound good? I sound great, I assume.
You sound fabulous. You are the epitome of a podcast host.
I love waking up to Mike in the morning. Core Medical Group is my first sponsor. You guys know it's a testosterone replacement therapy company. They can replace a lot of different hormones that you need. You guys should check them out. You can hit them up or you can go directly to me and I'll give you a phone number. They are a telemedicine company who will ship it directly to your house in discreet packaging. I mean, I love that. You got to love that. And also, they help with male performance medications. Is it performance? I don't know. I guess you'd be good at it if you have a boner. I'm not sure what that's called, but
you could call it performance and enhancement.
And enhancement. Ah, yes. I love it. So if you guys have any kind of issues in the male space and you have questions, they are the place to go to. I recommend anyone over 25 go get their blood work done and just check what their hormones look like. It's very important to know that. There has been a study, I did the study, of 40 veterans, 39 of them had low T. It's pretty interesting, but there's something due to the fact of stress and combat and everything else going on in the world. Something about the cheeseburgers, I think. It is ruining our testosterone levels. So check that out if you guys are struggling with depression, struggling with not feeling yourself, lack of motivation. All these things can be because of the lack of testosterone in your system. So you guys go check them out. Core Medical Group. Live Bearded. I use Live Bearded beard oils. I love it. Look at me. Good God, I'm perfect. Never mind that. Go to livebearded.com to get yourself some beard oils. My guest here, Jeremiah, looks like it's like Jesus's beard. It's freaking perfect. That thing is beautiful. Use promo code Rocco to get yourself 10% off. Hit him up. Let them know I sent you. WilliePeachChocolates.com. Get yourself some chocolates from a veteran who makes it out of his own house. He also adds different Scoville units to it, meaning different chili peppers from habaneros to jalapenos to even the Reaper pepper in some of his chocolates. It's incredible. He's fucking brilliant. You guys check it out. That's Willie Peach Chocolates. Go check out Deadeye Outfitters, outdoor apparel. They have... It's kind of the hunting man scene, right? Go check them out. But the other thing they have is some incredible fucking socks. They're always doing things for charity, for giving away for veterans and non-veterans and law enforcement and everything else. Go check out Deadeye Outfitters. And recently they came out with a new line of flannels. They are wrinkle-free. They are incredibly made. High quality. Check them out. I wear them now. You guys go check out Deadeye Outfitters. Bullion Box at bullionboxsubscriptions.com. Get your precious metals, silver and gold, delivered directly to your house. Right now is one of those weird times that collecting silver and gold is not a bad investment, okay? All this stuff with Bitcoin and crazy money and all this nonsense, the one thing that has stayed constant and true is your precious metals. Go check out bullionboxsubscriptions.com. Berry Law is a law firm that focuses on getting veterans the VA disabilities that they deserve, the VA ratings. This is a veteran-owned, veteran-operated establishment. Berry Law is there for you. You need an advocate in the space to get your VA benefits where you want them to be or where you believe they deserve to be. Let them fight for you. Go to ptsdlawyers.com and learn more. Oh, here we go. Well, I'm going to save Manscaped for last because I don't want to mess that up. Go to veteran.com. We're doing a giveaway for a truck right now. It's an F-150. You guys go right now, purchase anything. Every $5 spent at the store goes towards an entry to win an F-150. Last time we did this, a gentleman bought 2 T-shirts and won 2 motorcycles and $20,000 cash. It's legit, man. I was surprised myself. But you guys go check out veteran.com. You got Modern Gun School is www.mgs.edu. That is a gun school that you can go to at the comfort of your own home. It is distance learning. You can use your Voc Rehab or your GI Bill for that. That is mgs.edu, or go to on Instagram, Modern Gun School. Last but not least, Manscaped. Look at this, bro. Clean as a whistle. You can see my tattoos. Normally, I was telling people it's like a shag carpet here on my chest. You know, my wife doesn't like it too much, but I use Manscaped, the home of the lawnmower 3.0, right? Also the lawn trimmer. Mike sent me all kinds of. There's crazy things. You want some foot duster? I know I need that. You want some crop mop? That's ball wipe. That's for the genitalia area. You guys, I love what Manscaped is doing right now. They're doing all this cool stuff for you, the man, and his nether regions. Go check them out. Use promo code Rocco. Get yourself 20% off and free shipping. Jeremiah, how you doing, brother?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Good, dude. Well, Jeremiah, those of you listening, is part of. I reached out on social media and mentioned that I wanted to give people opportunities to state their claim, to preach their piece. You know, I was given an opportunity years ago to establish myself in the field, and you know, my life has changed dramatically, and so I want to do the same for others. And it's been a while. I'm sorry it's taken so long. My schedule got a little crazy, Jeremiah, but you know, now we're here, and please introduce yourself to the listeners.
Hey, thanks for having me. So my name is Jeremiah Wilbur. I'm a retired Green Beret. It's been almost exactly a year. The 31st of January, 2020 was my last day in the Army. I spent about 8 years in the Army as an MP. And then after that, I went to selection and I spent my last like 12 years, kind of half of that in 3rd Special Forces Group and then half of that in 10th Special Forces.
Crazy. That's dope.
Yeah, thank you. And really, you know, blessed for this opportunity. You know, post retirement, I'm in such a great headspace, and all the things I've done in my career. I just want to share that, and I think that, you know, special operations guys, we're always like the tip of the spear, what we do in combat and outside, you know, and I think that by us setting a good example and talking about, you know, openly talking about mental health and other veteran issues, that I think that we lead the way in that, and that other guys who might not be, you know, I don't want to say that their career wasn't as much as ours, but I think a lot of times they look up to us. So I think it's important for us to continue that and to continue try to show guys the way and help as many guys as we can.
Yeah. There's so many things right now that are interesting in your I guess in your career. There's not a lot of guys that go from regular Army to special forces the way you did. I guarantee there's probably under 1% of MPs who has ever gone into special forces. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, just running around and talking to guys about their careers, you know, when I was on the teams, and it was like just random dudes used to be an MP, you know, and they never say they were, you know, because it's like one of those like infantry, like MPs, always button heads type of deal. For me, it was opposite, where it was like, I think I came in the Army in 2000. So shortly after that, I mean, you know, a year later, September 11th happened. I was deployed, and I was always kind of in the realm where I was around, you know, infantry guys or other special operations guys. I did a stint doing some PSD for JSOC and whatnot. So I was, you know, I was proud of my MP career, and you know, my deployments to Iraq as an MP squad leader. You know, I had like infantry guys that were there on the compound with me, and we patrolled together and stuff. So I had a really good experience.
Most people didn't realize that, and I learned a lot. I had Sean Ambrose on the podcast, and Sean Ambrose is an MP that kind of had the same very similar experience as you, where like his combat experience was combat experience. It wasn't law enforcement experience. It was patrolling. It was actively doing missions. At one point, he's handed a sniper rifle to just pull security, and it's just like, you know, life completely is the MOS doesn't fall into the norm anymore when you go overseas. And I remember hearing that early on, like MPs ain't doing MP shit overseas. And I was like, oh shit, that's kind of crazy. MP is something that I've always been interested in. I've always been a guy that wanted to do law enforcement. So I saw it. But then as a young private who was drinking and starting bar fights, I fucking hated the MPs. Right?
Yeah,
like,
I think it's crazy because like I was that way. You know, I was a drill sergeant, and we had OSIT. So, you know, the kids come from civilians, and when they graduate, they're an MP. And, you know, during AIT, we're teaching blocks of instruction on, you know, patrol, you know, like law enforcement work. And I had privates asking me questions, and I'm like, private, I've been in a patrol car like 6 hours my entire life. Like, like I have no clue. So it was very funny to see, you have kind of uh, a very low percentage of MPs that were actually, could teach patrolling, that knew law enforcement stuff. Majority of guys, especially since, when Iraq kicked off, I mean, we were just patrolling, and the way our vehicles and weapons are set up, it was kind of ideal to be alongside and support, especially the light infantry guys that were walking or didn't have as much, armor to roll with them. So I mean, I think that was pretty common, and it may be changing nowadays. The war's kind of dying down. Guys are
Yeah.
might be getting more law enforcement.
Yeah, yeah. There's probably guys that are never going to go overseas ever again until something else kicks off, and so those guys will be. It's like before when I got into Ranger Battalion. I got into Ranger Battalion somewhere around 2004. I got in the Army in 2003. By the time I got to Ranger Battalion, it was 2004. There was guys. Everyone been to combat by then, and no one gave a fuck about marching in DNC. I didn't.
Yeah.
I learned marching in DNC in drill sergeant school.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, cadences. I said, if you're saying a fucking cadence, you're running too fucking slow, and we don't sing cadences anywhere else because we're fucking training for combat. So I don't know what the fuck you want me to do, right? And so I almost got in trouble because I had to learn all that basic DNC and military shit in drill sergeant school. So I didn't know you were a drill sergeant. That's pretty dope. And so where are you at now? What is the big mission for you? You're in a good headspace, and what would that be? And it's funny. I know the story, so I want my listeners to hear this. Go for it.
Yeah. So when I retired, when I hit terminal leave, I started using CBD and kind of weaning myself on all the medications that I had been on, prescribed.
From the VA or from just the
I would say not just the VA. I mean, this is when I was active duty. Our battalion doctors, our group surgeons and stuff, the meds that they put you on, and going to see other specialists, and it definitely ramped up even more as I was going through the retirement process. In special forces, we're pretty blessed. A lot of times they'll try to get your replacement if you're in a certain team sergeant or sergeant major position or whatever about a year out, so you can have a full year to go through the retirement process.
Nice.
It really helps because our op tempo is so high. A lot of times especially when you're in a leadership position, you're not taking care of yourself. So to give senior leaders, especially, a position to be able to take a full year to retire. So just going through that process, seeing all these specialists, whether it's for like brain trauma, frostbite issues, stomach issues, just the medical issues that I've had, got prescribed all this medication. So I was like, long story long, it's like my mother had rheumatoid arthritis when she was in her mid 30s, and taking all this medication, fast forward, to her early 60s, she passes away. And before she passed away, she had, almost every autoimmune disorder you can think of, from lupus, Guillain-Barré, all these issues. And I really think, it came from the medication she took. So when you hear these Humira commercials or these medical advertisements for this, they always talk about infections, and what they really mean is autoimmune disorders, your body not being able to fight off infection. So looking at that, I was like, I got to do something with these pills. I met a buddy of mine now, great guy. He actually owns Uncanna, former Ranger Battalion guy. And he basically got
It sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. So he started the company basically because of his own military experience with medications, introduced me to it, and I was just, sold from there. And within about, I would say, about 3 months, I'm completely off medications. I'm using CBD for sleep, anxiety, just whatever issues. And then I use marijuana like a supplement, I would say. I'm not gonna lie. Like every night, I'll recreationally do things.
Yeah. Do you smoke it, or do you use it in vape form or?
I like the edibles. I really like the body high. That's what helps with pain management the most for me. Helps me with sleep the most.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those guys that's like, once the kids go to bed, I eat an edible or I smoke a little flower or whatever. And then that's helped me out tremendously.
I'm going to connect you with some guys. There's a huge movement in the veteran space right now in cannabis and getting cannabis prescribed as a medical, I guess, answer for post-traumatic stress, TBI, and sleep issues. I mean, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a big movement for it. I'm sober. I'm 100% sober, but I still support these guys because I believe in anything better than alcohol, right? Like
Oh, for sure.
we grew up in a culture where the tough guys drink, and
Yep.
you go to war, you drink, and I mean, I'm so mad at myself for falling into that culture myself and raising young soldiers like, we go to war, come back, let's get fucking drunk, right? Like I
Yeah.
played into it,
Exactly.
dude. I raised my
Yeah.
dudes, and I'm like, have a beer. You're 18, yeah, but you're old enough to go to war. Let's drink. You know what I mean? This stupid
Yeah.
fucking thing that I didn't realize the repercussions of it. That it consumed my life for so many years, and it became the crutch that I held on to, man. I drank for the
Yeah.
anniversary dates of friends' deaths. I drank for their birthday. I drank for Memorial Day, Veterans Day. I drank for, and these weren't just days of drinking. These were days of drinking till I fucking get fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's this thing that that you chose something different like cannabis or CBD, there's better answers, it seems, and it's healthier for your body.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that like I noticed just with the CBD when you talk about the healthiness for your body, like what it does for you.
Yeah.
I was sleeping 5 to 6 nights on the floor every night for the last, probably my last 3 years in the army. And just, I mean, now I'm fine. I might have a couple nights a month where I'm a little off, don't get a good night's sleep, but and the recovery, as an athlete and what it does for you,
Yeah.
compared to like that drinking culture we've just been a part of, just like, and I also think like a lot of civilians and even, veterans, they don't understand how normal it was for us to party till 3 in the morning, pass out drunk, wake up at 5:30, brush your teeth, and go run 10 miles. Like that's the norm. That's what we did. And when you just look at what that does to your body, you look at dudes and it's like, I'm 40 years old, man, and I did that for, probably 17, 18 years of my life, that was like every weekend unless you were deployed, and
Crazy time, man.
yeah, man. I think it's just so normalized, and then you mix the pills and you mix all that together. And
I had a friend who got injured on a jump, and this is on the lines of the same thing. He got injured on a jump, and he had a pretty severe TBI, and so he wasn't able to deploy until he can get. I mean, he had to get all these authorizations and CAT scans, and it just was taking too long. So he got held in the rear. He became the NCO of the rear. But I got back from Ranger School injured, so I couldn't go on the next deployment. And so I'm sitting there with him, and he's the E5, I'm the E4, but I'm getting promoted soon. So we're kind of like the in charge of this whole fucking battalion for Alpha Company. And we'd have these meetings in his office, and he had a desk like this. And we'd come in, and he'd be like, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this dude, right? Like I grew up in LA, bro. Everyone does coke in LA. So I was like, what is this? Is this guy doing drugs? And I'm like, hey, bro, what are you doing? He goes, oh no, man, it's my pain pills for my head. It hits better that way. And me being naive, right? And naive, and also an E4, not, looking at an E5 and being, and also traumatized in Ranger Town forever talking out of line to an NCO, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Maybe that's right. Yeah, maybe that's just the way it is, right? Maybe it hits better that way. Dude, it was the craziest process to watch, that from that moment I started picking up on it. And he started getting more medication from other doctors and seeing other doctors. And all of a sudden he's shipping shit to my house, bro. Because he goes, oh, man, I just need to ship it to your house. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah, dude. And I'm bringing him now these bags of these medications that the VA is giving him and other outside doctors because he's still trying to figure out this head that he can't get the pain away. Bro, I missed it, right? I missed it. And the story goes on, and it's a hard to tell story, but in the end of the day, he ended up ODing about 6 years later, and this is all due to the fact that the way the active duty military, and not the Ranger Battalion, right? This is just this was in Fort Lewis. It was a Madigan hospital. They were trying to help this kid, and he's now becoming addicted. They don't know that. Now he's going to like outside doctors. And now he has 4 fucking doctors. And this is before they tracked all this shit, right? And so they just fed into his addiction, and it got worse and worse. And I wish there was, I wish he took the route of marijuana instead, right? Because I think it could have dramatically changed his life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy. I mean, it is like especially from what I've seen with pain management with guys. One of my good buddies, we were just talking about it yesterday, and it was like, you look at guys like us with our careers, a lot of times, especially in special operations, we always just suck it up and we're told to just like, you don't show weakness, period. So we always put off, going to the doctor or going to do these things. So you have these dudes who just live miserable. And when they finally like, okay, I have to go see the doctor, it's so bad, or they get an injury where they get, sent to the hospital, then they go down this rabbit hole of medications, and it's super easy. And it's just a slippery slope of like how these chemicals are changing your brain. You add alcohol to it. And you look at like, whether that's suicide or just OD or just stories like that. And it's like, it makes sense because, you have a guy who's like, all the guys that recently I know who've committed suicide, they were those dudes that they were like, man, he's such a stud. He's such a badass dude. And, his wife, his family, like, and it's like, he's not thinking rationally. He's got a broken brain, and it's because of these issues. And especially in special operations, I think it's that, that tough guy mentality. Like, we don't want to show pain. You're in charge of dudes, you're a squad leader in Ranger Battalion, you're a platoon sergeant or a team sergeant in special forces, like all these things that compile on each other. So it's very hard to like.
Did you know Andy? No,
I didn't. I have some friends that were on his team, very good buddies with him. So
I knew Andy pretty well. And so when you talk about that, it really, that's kind of the picture in my head was Andy, a dude who is a fucking stud, a dude who had 12 plus deployments, right? A dude who when you see him and hang out with him, man. When you see him and hang out with him, he's got everything figured out, and Jesus, that's the crazy thing about our community is, and what it's not just our community, like, this, the special operations is kind of like, okay, if they're held up here, this shit trickles down. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're such a small community. We see it. We're probably more intimate with that because there's not very many of the special operations community. And so we feel that. But as this trickles down, this is happening into the regular army and all into throughout the military. And the suicide thing comes from the culture of what the military itself is instilled, right? It's a problem from the root. Like when I talk about veteran and how I want to help change the culture of the veteran community, it's like part of me wants to change the active duty because that's where it starts, right? Active duty is the first issue, fixing the whole process of how they introduce medications and how they do all that is the first killer of veterans that when they get out, they're already addicted. You know what I mean? And so it's this crazy thing is like, how do we change that? It's going to be a fucking challenge to get in there and get, imagine getting a unit to tell them like, hey, you shouldn't get your guys on medications. They're going to be like, fuck off. We got to go to war.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got SRP. Yeah, shut up. Whatever.
I hurt my ankle on the jump, but we have to walk 12 miles. Here, take some Toradol on your ankle, right? Take some and go. Yeah. And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and I think it's like in the special operations community, it's even easier because it's just like you're in Ranger Battalion, you go to your whiskey one, you go to your 18 Delta, you're like, hey doc, I can't sleep. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, he's like, here's some Toradol, here's this, here's that, and it's just like. It's so easy. Like, I mean, it's literally like you never go to sick call. You got like strep throat, and you're like, hey, give me a Z-Pack. You do this. Like, you don't. It's just so accessible to just be like, here, I need this, and they're like, yep, shoot them with some, like you said,
when I went to the VA, they were like, you have any medical record? I'm like, no, dude, I just went to my doc and he fucking fixed it. Right? Like there was nothing. Yeah. There's a very few times I actually showed up or else you'd be called the bitch. You'd be called the fucking sick call ranger. You'd be called. Yeah. So you're like, nah, bro, my nose is broken. Don't worry about that bad boy. Just
yeah, dude. For
well,
sure.
Dude, talk to me, man. What's your call to action, man? What would you like for the listeners to know and promote and push? Because I want to support that, man.
Awesome. So I would say I kind of got two things that I really like to talk about, and one of those is kind of along with the lines of medication, and I think it's kind of a societal thing where. In America, we want the 7-Eleven model. We want everything right now. We want an easy fix. Like I want abs, so I'm going to take a pill and work out.
I'm going to stop you 1 second because I want you to get into that, and I don't want to interrupt you again. But we are obligated to do a sponsorship real quick in the middle of this podcast. We'll do that real quick, and then we'll get into it. Yeah. All right, y'all listening. This is new for us too, man. But we're sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped is I'm going to put it in my own words, and Mike's not going to like this, but Manscaped is the male fucking answer for all your problems down in the nether regions. You guys go check out Manscaped. They have all kinds of cool things from boxers and t-shirts, but they got Crop Reviver. It's a ball toner and refresher. They have Refined Cologne, signature Manscaped scent. If you guys are having trouble getting the ladies, I think their cologne should help. I don't know. Maybe not. But I like the stuff they have. You got Crop Preserver, the anti-chafing ball deodorants. That's always important. Those of you guys are going on long road marches probably want to get some of that. They got the Lawnmower 3.0. It's a safe skin trimmer. It's the trimmer that will not clip your nuts, right? I don't know if anyone's ever trimmed the areas down there. Sometimes it's very sensitive skin, and you don't want to hurt yourself. So you guys go check out everything they have. They got razors. They got everything you can think of for the manscaping. So hit them up. It's Manscaped. Use promo code Rocco. Get 20% off and free shipping. Get out.
You know what? It's not just for dudes, because no woman or partner loves a rough ride. You know, come on, you got to keep it. You got to keep it clear down there.
A rough ride, please, Michael. This is a kids show.
All right, considering what you just said. Hey, and remember, the equipment's waterproof too. You can use it in the shower. Makes it easier.
That's what I do love that. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for helping me stay on track. Sorry about that. So let's do it, man. What is it that we want to talk about?
All right. So going back into, like I say, it's kind of starting with society, how I think Americans, and this is for me, my experience, you know, in combat operations in multiple continents. Americans like that 7-Eleven model. We want the answer right away. So, you know, we go to this grocery store, we want it to be there. You know, we want our produce year round. We're so like convenient. Whereas a lot of the world, you know, they're on a 100-year war. When we talk about our enemies, you know, you go to other countries, whether it's in Europe, you know, things are closed on Sunday, small town vibe. So I kind of take that and I look at like just what veterans want, or like the answer to, you know, something. So it's like a pill is not going to be your answer, you know, like taking CBD is not just going to be your answer. So what I try to explain to guys and what I like to share is it takes a lot of things to make this one thing happen. So my headspace and how I feel about life in general right now and what I'm going through isn't just me taking CBD, using pain management, marijuana, all these things. It's this whole encompassing thing. So, you know, I have like solid network, positive environment, you know, so my wife, my support system, my family is amazing. You know, outdoors, like my wife will literally tell me if I'm not like go hunting or camping or I'm not doing some kind of trip, she's like, you need to go to the mountains for a couple of days, go do something.
That's dope.
So I think
my wife doesn't say that.
Yeah.
She's like, you need to cuddle longer. You need to stay in bed and cuddle longer. I'm like, what?
What?
She wants you to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
Well, you're on Manscaped now, dude. So it's like soft, and you know, it's a new experience. Now you got the Lawnmower 2000.
There you go. The check's in the mail, Jeremiah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I just look at it like that, and I think that a lot of times when I do talk to other veterans or see what guys are doing, all the guys I know or just see, you know, through social media or whatever, that I don't want to say they're doing great. The appearance of doing great, because we do know that can be, you know, I don't want to give that stigma.
No, you're right.
But at the same time, it's like these guys are always chasing adventures. You know, you still have to do hard things. I'm a firm believer in that. It's like, you know, if you look at your military career, regardless what your MOS was, you did hard shit. You know, like if you were a pack clerk, like you still did road marches, you went through basic training, you did things that physically and mentally challenged you. Yep. And you have to continuously do that when you're out of the military. So
I agree with that.
Not one thing.
I'm just taking a note because I want to say something, but please go ahead.
Yeah. So that's my one thing I like to really share. It's like, you need to find some hobby or hobbies that you really like that can help, you know, kind of redirect focus or direction. And that could be like shooting a bow or, you know, playing chess. Like it doesn't matter what it is. It can be very broad into the spectrum. I like to do things that my kids are involved in, because that, like, for me, you know, I spent 20 years in the Army. I have 2 older kids. I have a 21-year-old and a 16-year-old that I miss so much of their lives. And then I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old where now I'm just like, I'm retired. I want to share
Now you're the best dad in the world, and your older kids are like, what the fuck?
This guy sucks. I know.
Bro, look, you're preaching to the choir, dog. I got an 18-year-old that's watching me carry my 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this dude is so cool. And she's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah. No, I trust me, my oldest daughter and my relationship isn't what I wish it was and what I want it to be. You know, I'm very proud of her. And I think she's proud of me in the same right. But at the same time, you know, just being gone that much, you know. So
it built animosity, dude. And they might not ever understand it, and we might not ever understand it, and we probably could have been better about it, and they could probably understand it better. But it's this weird thing of like life and emotions.
Absolutely. So I just, you know, I look at those things, and that's what I try to share with people. I started a social media page when I retired, and it was I was doing, I would say, for the last like 6 years. I've been doing a big event every year for a nonprofit and just trying to pay it forward. I've had like Green Beret Foundation and other, nonprofits do some things for me, help me with my retirement, stuff like that. So, and I've seen what great foundations do for people. So I just kind of wanted to pay that forward and just keep them going. I know that, you know, even if I only raise a couple $100, like it's better than nothing, you know? So
definitely. Let me stop you for a second here, and I like that because there's I want to touch on this before we go further. It's so true that the community likes to look at it. Just a fact to that what you're saying is there's 100,000 different nonprofits in the veteran community, right? Everybody has an answer. Everybody has an idea. And the truth of it, we have to come down to the root of it. We have to get down to the foundation of the trauma, fix that first, and then they can go off and shoot a bow. They can go fucking chisel wood. They can go, right? Like, we're not fixing this trauma. We're trying to put Band-Aids all over it. And this is the biggest problem we have, right? No one's getting down to the root of the answer. And there is an answer. It's proven answers, right? There's ways of healing trauma. There's brain mapping. There's hormones. There's counseling. There's all these things that people are avoiding because that's the uncomfortable topic, right? That's the uncomfortable thing to say. Yeah, I'm going to counseling. There's so many answers. Exposure therapy. How many people don't want to do that? Like, there's a lot of things. Whatever you think about it, but yeah, in the end of the day, there is answers that for some reason our community is not taking because maybe it's just the uncomfortable conversation.
That, and I think maybe like kind of going back to, you know, rule number one, always look cool. Like, I think maybe I
agree with that. Keep going.
You know, like shooting a bow and and telling yourself that that's therapeutic and those things, and it is. But that looks cool, right? Like, you know, that's a cool thing to talk to your friends about, or make a sweet Instagram video. But you know, no one's making sweet Instagram videos of them going to talk to the wizard. You know.
Yeah, dude. Fucking. I've been focusing a lot, and I'm going to put my camera back on, but I'm fixing the lighting because it's messing with trying to see you. And I feel good now. We'll get this figured out. Boom. But this is going to change right now.
You're in a spaceship.
Yeah. Mike is probably like, what is he doing? This is okay. See, this is the thing with my podcast. When it becomes work, it's not fun anymore. I just want it to be, you know what I mean? I just want it to be fun.
Oh yeah.
And so, but I'm going to fix that light in a second. And so what do you do in your events? Is it that you do that tell me about that one.
So, I basically I really like endurance sports. I think that, you know, obviously in special operations, it's a key element. So it's very easy to kind of stay in shape and do, you know, ultra marathons or something like that. So, basically, what I've done the last 4 years is it's the biggest backcountry ski race in North America. It's called the Grand Traverse. It's a 40-mile point-to-point race from Crested Butte to Aspen. So what I've been doing is kind of showcasing, because it's local to Colorado. Green Berets have a pretty good footprint. We're always out training at the ski resorts or out in the mountains. And I saw people doing it, you know, and I was like, well, this is something I want to showcase, like, you know, special forces guys, that we can do this. So that's kind of how it started. And it was more like an arm for me to do some fundraising. And the first one I did was for the Green Beret Foundation.
Endurance, dudes. That's like 100-mile kind of things or something.
Yeah. So a lot of the races I've done, I've done a race where I ran from Denver to Breckenridge. That was 75 miles. So just, I think like just showcase for me, I'm not an elite athlete when it compares to, sport specific, these guys that are training for these type of events. But I think it showcases like just the mental fortitude and the physical ability of special operations guys in general. So
But
that was kind of where I started with it.
yeah, and you're also sacrificing yourself to raise money, which is commendable, and everyone's gonna appreciate that. I think that's badass.
Yeah. And I think it's a way, like for me personally, it kind of holds me accountable as well, where it's like, I'm not just doing a fundraiser event to try to raise money. I'm also training and for my own, goals. And like I said, for me, when I talk about, all these things that keep me in a good headspace, a lot of that is chasing adventures and continuously doing hard shit.
Yeah, and that reminded me. So I wanted to talk about that real quick because I went into this page. Have you ever heard of the Clubhouse app?
Mm-mm.
It's a new app where it's really just kind of like a live podcast space. I don't know. It's really like open mic conversations. But I got into this philosophy one, and I was talking to this guy who does philosophy and philosophical conversations and shit. Way too fucking smart for my brain. But the one thing he said that us as humans have an inadvertent necessity to solve problems. And I fucking related that to the veteran fucking issue right now. It's like, look, in the military, we're solving problems daily, dog.
Yep.
Here's the mission. Go fucking find a way to make it happen. Go get a fucking operation order together. Go fucking get your team together. Let's make a plan. Let's fucking execute. Once that's done, let's get another mission. And living this life it's easy because there's a mastermind behind giving us the problems that we need to solve. Right. There's the hierarchy is like, here's the problem, go fix it. And so that side of our thinking process is gone. We don't need that anymore. We just do, we do, which is very fucking easy in life, is to just exist and do. Now we get out of the military and we don't have that there is no mission to solve, or there isn't until you give yourself the problem. Right.
Absolutely.
And so now I just, when I heard this, like, fuck, dude, I tell people like create little missions for yourself. Right. But it wasn't the mission, right? It was actually create a problem to solve. Get your mind going, get the juices flowing, man. Give yourself a challenge and fucking find a way to answer that shit. And once that's done, go fucking make another problem. And I think that's why we're also self-destructive. I think it's also why we destroy our lives to try and piece it back together, because it's something to fucking do. And I think subconsciously we do this, right? Like, let me just fucking fuck it all up, because for some reason it's easier to pull ourselves off the ground than fucking just stay on top,
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like, so my mother is Native American, and I grew up, in a very warrior culture. I grew up in Montana. My mom used to have this saying where she said, "Today's a good day to die." And she said that's what the warriors would say. And she said it to us when we were kids, like all our lives, and
Wow,
getting into wrestling and martial arts. Like my mom was my cut man, and like I'd be getting ready to go to tournaments and stuff. And my mom was like, "Today's a good day to die." And like, that's just how I treated everything. And when I look at that saying, and I look at the guys I was around in special forces, that mentality is just rampant in that aggressiveness and going to what you're saying. Like, you're taking this mission, you're executing. And the saying that I've kind of come up with, and what I think happens a lot of times in the veteran community, is that war's easy, man. Like, every day is Monday. Every day is a good day to die. Every day is Monday. I'm either lifting weights, eating good, rehearsing, prepping gear, building demo. Like, everything is the same. Every day is Monday. It doesn't matter if it's Saturday. I'm not paying bills. My wife's not telling me what to do. I'm not fucking messing with the kids. Everything is just super hyper focused on this one task at hand. And it doesn't matter. And then when you come home from that, it's like your mind's going 100 miles an hour, because you're receiving so much information and processing it, because you're not necessarily worried about your own life. You're worried about the dudes next to you. So, and if you're a leadership position, it's even compounded on that.
Hey, you're worried about everybody.
Yeah. So then you come home, and now all of a sudden you have all these life problems. You got to pay bills. Like, oh shit, it's this month. I got to do this, whatever. So I think those type of things are also something that we don't focus on in the veteran community. And we just wonder why guys are like, start going through it. And I'm like, dude, especially guys who had a really long career at exactly what you said, just getting stuff from hire, or, hey, this is your battle space, make it happen.
Yeah.
So you're right. They're not solving a problem. And then when they are when they do have problems, it's oftentimes it's problems that don't seem like, the manly problems, like your kids or,
Bro,
your wife. Like it's
yeah,
all these problems where like, you're like, I don't
I,
know how
w-
to do that shit. I kill shit. Like,
yeah,
so,
I went through divorce, dude, and then my first divorce was my first one because I have two now, right? And I'm hoping not three. I there was a lot
it's
of
cool, man.
growth.
I got 4 kids by 4 different women, airborne Ranger, life, sex, and danger. So
There you go, bro. You get
it's
it.
all,
You
it
get it.
happens, man.
So I remember being inside of a grocery store and I couldn't find the bag of little chips for my kids because I became a single dad, right? So the little bag of chips that goes in their fucking lunchbox, I couldn't find this motherfucker. And I'm in a grocery store. I'm fucking bawling, bro. I finally broke because just hours before that, I'm trying to figure out how to pay the bills and I don't even know where the fucking bills go. I don't know who to call.
Yeah.
I'm fucking falling behind because I didn't even know I had that bill, right? Like I never ran my own money because I was too busy doing war. And then that got comfortable and it kind of stayed that way. And I just continued to work and work. But sorry, but that was a fucking weird thing where I had to learn how to be normal, like the average dude. It's like, I'm sorry, I have to pay bills when on the 1st or the 15th or on the 7th. Why would you ever pay a bill on the 7th? And it's like it
Right.
fucked me up, dude. Like the normal fucking conversation because it wasn't a thing I had to do. So now it's like the whole day of figuring this shit out, and then now I had to find a fucking bag of chips, bro. I fucking lost it. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody if I don't find a bag of chips right now.
Yeah, dude. No, I think that's a funny story that actually like ties so much of that into, that bag of chips. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just fucking
yeah.
absurd,
This is the thing that just owned me, dude. This bag of chips is what just fucking broke me. I'm
Yeah.
fucking of dudes in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm fucking, I'm living this life of fucking danger, and a bag of chips broke me, bro.
Yeah, man. I think that it's that mentality where every day is Monday is just, it's so compounding, and I think it's more than what guys can like really put a finger on or actually like talk about. It's I think in my opinion, that's where a lot of things happen with guys.
I did a YouTube comedy thing, and it was an improv, and I said that same thing. I said, "War's easy, dude. You only got to worry about getting shot in the face. Coming home is the hard part." And it was
Yeah,
so honest, and people were like, "Fuck, that's right." I'm like, "Yeah, man, war's easy as fuck. The only thing I'm worried about is getting shot in the face, and really, you're going to war to get shot in the face. So fuck it, right? Here we go."
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
home is a
Yeah.
challenge. Shit, man. So
Yeah, dude.
next time you do some kind of endurance race, I would love the invite. I'm definitely not running fucking 75 anything, but I might be able to jog 1 mile with you at least in support and support your
Nice.
efforts and help promote whatever nonprofit you're supporting
Yeah,
at that time.
I think the next thing that's on the plate, I've been approached by just some buddies from 10th group. We're gonna do I want to say the number's 40 because that's the percentile of special operations guys that commit suicide. We're gonna basically kind of do like the long walk. We're gonna do 40 miles carrying 40 pounds to represent those numbers and do
I'm
some
in.
like awareness with special operations guys. So
If I can make it, dude, I'm in.
yeah. So I mean, it's just basically just rucking 40 miles, having a good time.
Yeah, that's a good time. Might cramp up, might not, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm down.
it's
Hey,
all right.
I'm down to challenge it, and then it'll turn into a fucking stretcher carry, and you guys carrying my fucking fat ass.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Okay, it's for the community.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down
Yeah.
though. Seriously, I'm down to be a part of anything like that.
That's awesome.
I think things like that are awesome. It's not only a message for our community that we're trying to find answers, we're trying to get guys, but it's also something for us as well to challenge ourselves to create a problem and then try and solve it. And so
Yeah.
I'm all about it, man. I love that. Hey, I want to dig into something real quick, just because you probably don't know this, but I study a lot of Native American culture. I've done sweat lodges. I've talked to shamans about multiple different things. I'm actually going to try and schedule a cleanse with the frog, the frog venom.
The toad. Yeah, the toad. Yeah.
The toad venom, yeah. So
Yeah,
it'll go into my bloodstream. It'll make me purge and go through with the shaman. Is there
Yeah,
something?
especially if you do if you're dancing and you're fasting and you do all of it, it's yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So I have a buddy who does the is it sundancing, is it called? He goes to the Lakota. He goes with the
Mhm.
Lakotas and he does the dancing and he does the fasting. And it's become this interesting thing because, like you say, the warrior culture. And it's just, I think it's beautiful that your mother raised you that way. And I think it's hardcore as fuck. And it's just a testament to the native culture who raises a warrior culture. You know, they also have ceremonies for when the warriors come back and cleanse them of their war, of all their war traumas, right? And it wouldn't even label it as trauma, but they're just their war efforts. It cleanses them of everything. And we don't have a system like that. Ours is drink until you get fucked up, instead of an actual, it's okay, you're back and we appreciate you. Let's cleanse you of all your sins and let's get ready for life again. So I've been really drawn into the native culture because of that, you know, and I'm actually working on getting some land in Salt Lake City and finding a shaman who can host those for me out there. And one of the actors on the Mayans MC is really deep into this, and he's the one who got me involved early on. I went to a sweat lodge here in Southern California that was only with veterans, and it was a heavy, powerful sweat where the leader was a Vietnam veteran, and he said his piece and he did his prayers and he played the drums, and the heat was so intense in that motherfucker. You doubt life, right? You're like, okay, I'm melting away and I want to quit, but you can't, right? It's this fucking thing. And I've done probably 6 or 7 now, and I want to continue to do these. And I was trying to explain it to some veterans, and they're all willing to try it, but it has to be done in the respectful manner of respecting the culture, but as well as the ceremony. You know, guys, I invited one guy who tried to leave. I said, bro, you ain't getting out of this motherfucker, dog. Like this is not how this works, bro. You get through this. This is part of the suffering, is part of the healing.
Absolutely. And it's also you know, bringing you in and bringing you together and sharing that, because my mother is, by blood, she's Muscalero Apache, but she was adopted and raised Assiniboine, which is like a band of the Sioux. They're from Canada and Montana. And my dad, you know, fast forward, you know, being married to my mom for, you know, 40 years, my dad can go to powwows. He's like the only white man that like sets up teepees and like walks around normal, and like no one says anything to him. Like he's legit. He's an Indian. Like other than the color of his skin, but so those ceremonies and the way they look at that warrior culture, they're very accepting to soldiers in general because of the warrior culture.
And I think that's healthy.
I think it's absolutely healthy that like, so that's one thing that I think that's easy in our society is we you have this set of people, and tends to be more conservative leaning people that really take in the veteran community. They love soldiers. They're very patriotic. I don't necessarily think that, you know, people on the left are not that way, but with what's going on in the media and society, it's like we've changed where it's like you have to be right or left, when I think most Americans are like down the middle, and they're like,
yeah,
what? A lot of this is weird.
I have that problem being in Hollywood, where there was an actress the other day, and I don't get offended. I just kind of blow it off, because I think it becomes, it's ignorant comments, but it's lack of education as well in the subject. But you know, she was like, I don't know why you would fight for this country. And it's like, I get what you're trying to say, but you're saying it really, really rude. And in the sense, like, the government might be corrupt in some spaces, and are we fighting a war that is justified? All this, like, people want to pull all these little things into it, and for the guy who's the soldier, we don't think that. Like, for me, I come from a lower middle class family who never would have been able to pay for college.
Right.
Hello, here I am. Right. I had no other opportunity besides the baseball scholarship that I granted myself, that I also lost. So I need to give myself opportunity, and the military was that. They don't realize it's a sacrifice we chose, and with one, serve your country, but two, you could, if you make it out of this, it's this gamble. If you make it out of this war, well, now you have some benefits that can change your kids' lives forever. Right. It's the gamble that we have to play for success. And they don't get that. So they make these comments, and I'm like, okay. I'm luckily I'm not this angry veteran that's gonna be like rah 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 rah.
Yeah.
I just go, I kind of did one of these like, but in my head it's like she doesn't get it.
No,
She doesn't get
doesn't
it. Because she was afforded a lifestyle that she could afford anything she ever wanted and never
Mhm.
had to feel like the pressure of like, well, if I want to get ahead in life, I need to do something to get my education.
Right. Yeah, and people like that, and just a lot of I found a lot of people that have viewpoints like that when they say they're traveled. It's like going to Europe isn't fucking travel. Like you want to go to the EU, you go into a fucking first world country. Like no, if you've been to the places that we've been to and seen the things that we've seen, it's it, it's you can't even explain it. And just talk about like grooming little boys and pedophilia and just the crazy things you've seen, and what goes on in these places, where someone like that, she's relating her experience in Spain and her cool trips to Iceland or whatever.
Right.
They don't have anything to pull on from they've never been to Uganda or
Yeah.
Afghanistan or crazy places. So I think that has a lot of it to do with it, but which makes it, I don't know. Like you said, you just listen to them. You're like, yeah, it's not even worth arguing with.
No, it's because it would take a long time they would have to live a life in our shoes to ever understand where we're coming from, and
Absolutely.
also coming from a place where I'm not also so angry that I have to put you in your place. I've
Right.
seen it. I've seen life. I have
Mhm.
empathy for everyone because I've seen death as well.
Right.
And so life is so different, right? Like these people that are polarizing, I think haven't experienced life in that sense either.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like left or right. I don't care who you are. If you've seen life, there's this middle ground of empathy that is just like, oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. You understand how precious it is.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Well, dude, we're gonna wrap this up soon. Please tell me any organizations you want to plug, your own organizations, anything. You
Yeah.
have the time, man. It's yours.
Awesome. Thank you. So the Grand Traverse this year, I'm doing it for Heroes and Horses. Really cool to me. It's kind of a hometown vibe. Mike Fink is a former Navy SEAL, and they own a ranch right outside of my hometown in Montana. So that's kind of how I linked up with those guys, and then just seeing testimonials, meeting some of the guys who've been through the program, and I think our conversation about veterans. It's why I wanted to help out this program, and it was, it's a holistic way. They're doing PT, they're eating right, they're doing something hard, they're showing guys the way and the path. So I really wanted to jump on and do this fundraiser for those guys. So
Have them hit me up.
yeah, I will. I'll shoot them an email, and I'll call Micah and Boba. Yeah, and so I have the links to donate on my Instagram. We also have a really cool T-shirt that I helped design with a Green Beret owned company called True Patriot. They're donating all the proceeds for the T-shirt, as well as 15% of all their profits for the month of March is going to go to Heroes and Horses as well. So.
Okay, I'm gonna have to share that. I'll share that today because this won't come out for about 3 or 4 weeks. Mike knows, but still, we'll get that. And then all
no
those
problem.
links, hopefully it continues, because we'll put all those links on this as well when we load it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the fundraising effort, my race is March 28th. Starts at midnight on the 28th, and that's that 40-mile backcountry race. I'll have some links on my bio as well, where they track you with GPS and things like that. So
yeah, I'll share it today on my stories and just make sure people follow you. Just
awesome.
try and get a little buzz behind that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, and I'm just blessed. Anybody who ever wants to reach out or whatever, like want to go hunting with me, and just it doesn't matter. Like hit me up. We can talk about anything.
Cool. I'm the same, dude. I'm the same. I did the same. Mike is just telling me we're going to try and put this out sooner just so we can get you the most output possible. So
awesome.
we're actually going
Thank
from
you so much.
Yeah, we're going from 4 podcasts to 6 podcasts a month now, which has been blessing. We've been able to do really well. Sorry about all the issues today, man. It was just,
no worries,
it's like one thing after another. I'm like, fuck.
It's cool. I mean, I'm gonna buy some testosterone and ball shaver after this anyway, so it's cool, man.
Support the sponsors.
The homie, dude.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, we appreciate you having you, brother Jeremiah. Seriously, it's been cool, man. I live in Salt Lake City full time. If you're ever in the area, let's link up, dude. I would love to get my fat ass running again. Either way, bro, thank you so much for joining us on the Vinny Rock podcast. Those of you listening, share, tag, tell your friends. We love you.
I took the blow. go.